Hello, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me. My name is Maxi Rödel. I'm an intern at Lapland University of Applied Sciences in Rovaniemi, Finland. And today we have our last webinar in our webinar series, Deep Dives about technologies for tourism. And today we are talking about blockchain. This webinar is part of the Tourbit project. And I will show you our today's agenda. So in a second, my colleague David Johansson from Iceland will tell you a little bit about the Tourbit project, what it's all about, in case you don't know yet. After that, we have an introduction to blockchain for tourism businesses. Curse Salomo from Spain will talk to us and explain in depth what blockchain is about. So we really try to demystify it today. I guess blockchain is quite unknown for many tourism business owners. And we will have a look into how it can be used in tourism. So we also have two use cases here. One comes from France. Jamil Benabdallah will talk about this, and he has an example from France. And after that, we will hear from Samo Eršen from Slovenia. So now I give the floor to my colleague David. So David, here you go.
Thank you, Maxi, and good morning here from very chilly Iceland at the moment. It's my pleasure to introduce in a very brief way the Tourbit project, which we are working on. Can you maybe put it on a full picture, Maxi, the presentation?
Okay, so on my screen, it's on a full picture. So you don't see it as a full picture, right? I'm sorry about that. Just a second. So do you see it as a full picture now?
No, reshare it while because you have two PowerPoints, one presentation, one the slides. So you have to reshare and select the presentation mode.
Okay, just a second. Thank you. So can you see it now?
Yes.
So I will turn the slides. So here you go.
Okay, there we go. And yes, we are Tourbit, and with our main goal with fostering the digitalization of European tourism SMEs. And we just started this project now, beginning of this year, and the project will be ongoing for some more 2 years. That will be ending in the middle of 2024. The project is financed from the COSME program of the European Union, and we are the project is coordinated from the Catalan Tourist Board. Next one, please. We are in this project 8 partners, quite well spread over Europe. With, as I said, our leading partner, the Catalan Tourist Board, with the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, with the Welcome City Lab, the Paris & Co from France, with Arctur from Slovenia, the cluster hospitality Brussels by Hub Brussels from Belgium. We are then the Iceland tourism cluster, and we have our colleagues from the Lapland University of Applied Science in Finland, and the Nest Tourism Innovation Center in Portugal. And what we found out in our conversation before here, we have only about 40 degrees difference in temperature between us this morning. But the general objective of the project is to support tourism SMEs in the uptake of digitalization and innovation by fostering their skills, knowledge, and network. And we will be doing that by rolling out a transnational and cross-ecosystem support scheme based on 3 pillars: learning, building, and testing and implementing. And we now are in the first phase in the learn, and these deep dive webinars, which has been ongoing since middle of June, and we are finishing off today, is a part of that. We of course strongly encourage you to, if you haven't been able to join us in the former seminars, that you will find them all recordings from them on our tourbit.eu page, and I'm sure it will during your holiday be a good alternative to Netflix to watch this. And we shortly will go into the next phase, the building, and where a core thing of that will be the digital readiness index, which we will present in the next couple of weeks, and where the SMEs will be able to check their status of their digitalization, and then when it comes from next year on into the third phase, the testing and implementation phase, we will be going with companies that can apply for a financial support of implementing solutions that has been worked on during the project. So lot of good things coming out of this, and we definitely look forward to let you hear more from us. But that's from me from now on, and I give back to you, Maxi.
Hello. Yes, thank you, David. So I hope everybody got now a good understanding of the Tourbit project. In case you want to know more, or you are not yet a community member, you can find out more about the project under www.tourbit.eu. And now I will give the floor to Kirse. He will talk to us about the blockchain technology and give us an in-depth overview about it. So here you go, Kirse.
Okay, good morning. If you let me share my screen, please.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I am Kirse Salomó. I am the CEO of the Center Blockchain of Catalonia. The Center Blockchain of Catalonia is a center of excellence, technological excellence, created by the Chamber of Commerce of Barcelona, the government of Catalonia, and a group of people in the world, in the industry of blockchain here in Catalonia. And you will see that the excellence that some centers of technology find in the papers and publishing the papers, you will see that there is a curiosity in our center that we find the excellence in our mission. Sorry. Okay. Our center is not in Barcelona, because we have a lot of things, a lot of centers in Barcelona, and the government and the chamber decided to decentralize the center and put around our territory. Our headquarters is in a town named Girona, in the north of Catalonia, and then we have other subsites, other places in Vic, dedicated to food industry and beverage, are verticals, blockchain, food industry and beverage, that is in Vic. And in Badalona, there is the energy and blockchain. That means that is sustainable energy and blockchain. Will come other verticals, possibly tourism vertical in coming months, dedicated in other towns around Catalonia. And as I said to you, our mission is adoption, mass adoption. We want that Catalonia adopts quickly and massively the blockchain as technology. And this mission is where we find the excellence in the center, because the mass adoption is the question that the blockchain industry has not reached to have a success in it. And we think that the excellence will be there if we find a way to generate this mass adoption as country. And why we think that? We think that because we believe that the blockchain, we see the blockchain technology as an enabler technology, maybe the enabler of digital transformation, as has been in the past, the steam machine in our country. Catalonia take off the industrial revolution, let's say in the early stages. In Europe was one of the first territories that take it off this industrial revolution, because they had very early moments the steam machine. The same role or the same paper, the same role, we think that is for the blockchain in the digital transformation. The blockchain is an enabler technology for the digital transformation, and is a very disruptive technology. To us, possibly the most disruptive technology in the digital transformation. At the end, the blockchain has been invented by an anonymous guy that the name is Satoshi Nakamoto, and this woman or man has decided to invent the Bitcoin to disrupt the financial sector. But at the same time that he invents the Bitcoin, has invented the blockchain where the Bitcoin runs. And maybe the value of his invention is quite bigger, the blockchain as technology than the Bitcoin. Then we think that is a very, very disruptive technology. And it's also, we have a vision here that sometimes we say, no, technology is not necessary to understand. You apply the technology and that's it. If you want to send a mail, you send a mail. I mean, it's not necessary to understand how it works, the protocol of the mail, and so on. In the case of the blockchain, it's not that. The blockchain is important that the leaders of the companies, the leaders of the institutions, the politicians, understands very well the blockchain, because he will disrupt, really, will be these guys, will be the leaders, will be not the developers, the coders. The coders are not disruptors. Who will disrupt the models, the social models, economical models, and the tourism is you guys, the people that is leading the tourism institutions. And in order to that, it's very important to learn deeply this technology and to understand it. The technology, as I said, has been invented by Satoshi Nakamoto. That can be a woman, a group of men and women. We don't know, it's anonymous. Although there is some people that is claiming the authority, the authorities of that. But the invention has been to, as says the paper, to become a peer-to-peer payment system. Okay, we see nowadays the Bitcoin as the people saying the gold, the digital gold. But if you read the paper of Satoshi Nakamoto, the invention is not to become a digital gold; it's to become a peer-to-peer electronic system, and that has been quite a perversion. Okay, becoming this digital gold is more related to speculation on all these questions. From this moment to now, that is 14 years, near 14 years, the blockchain has evolved in different flavors and different systems, different networks or different protocols that has, some of them have different functionalities, interesting functionalities. Okay. Let's say that sorry. Yeah. Let's say that the blockchain has three different values, important values that is important to know for your applications in tourism. One is transparency, the other one immutability and decentralization. I think that if we focus first in transparency, a lot of times you will hear in the press that Bitcoin is for obscure transactions between black money and all these things, and that's not true at all, because it's a very transparent network. You can see all the transactions on the network, and we will see that the transparency that is sustained the blockchain is because the blockchain uses a special technology that helps to have this transparency. The immutability, it refers that the blockchain, that is a decentralized database. If you see what is blockchain, a decentralized database. Okay. What has as one of the values is that the information that you put in the blockchain will be never changed, can be never changed anymore, and is a register for the eternity, if you want, there. And this value, if you derivate this value, helps well is that important value that helps to transfer money from one peer to another peer. Okay, this immutability of the registers. But also, the third value, important value, is the decentralization of the network. As I told you, it's a decentralized database, and this decentralization helps and is the real disruption, because we have models of digital money, but with a central power, and then it's very untrustable. What gives trust to the blockchain is this decentralization, that there is not a central power that is managing all these transfers of money. Okay, that is to me the more disruptive value of the blockchain is decentralization, because the humans, we are not used to have decentralized organizations. The other hand, all these values, we reach these values for a compendium of technologies. We need to see that the blockchain is not one technology. Satoshi Nakamoto has not discovered one single technology. What he has is merged a lot of existing technologies. Maybe one of the technologies, very old technology. For example, the first one, ledger. A ledger is a technology, a very old existing technology. Accounting ledgers are very old in humanity. But this technology, the ledger, is maybe one of the more important technologies in the blockchain. The second one is the peer-to-peer network. The peer-to-peer network was before used, for example, for the exchanging films in Emul or BitTorrent or this kind of networks. It was an existing technology. Cryptography is the other pillar technology. Is used in the blockchain. It's clear that the blockchain has pushed or pulled to develop a lot the cryptography, but it was an existing technology. The game theory. Curiously, the game theory is very important in the blockchain, because the way to when you want to manage a decentralized organization, you need to put all the members in a consensus. You need to have all the members together in the same agree the same question, and the way to reach this agreement is a game theory, is the incentivation to reach the agreement. Okay, and they use the game theory. I think it's a very amazing part of the blockchain, how we use the game theory. And the last one is open source. Open source is related to the transparency that I told before, because you can be transparent if everybody that is in the network using the software knows what and how is the software that is running. If it's open source, everybody has access to the software, knows the code, and then there is not things behind the code that the machines are running. Then this transparency of using open source is very key for the trust of the blockchain. All these questions that I explained to you I think that you need to think about it. And for the tourism, how can we apply it all that? Well, I think that more and more in the consumer marketing, but also in tourism, you know the value of community marketing or community building. I think it's more and more for the marketing of tourism to rise and to build communities. Then using blockchain is a very important tool to reach and to build and to put a community, to incentivize a community to work together to reach a goal. And that could be very well used in tourism to incentivize communities to do better tourism, ecological tourism, different ways of tourism. The other application, I think, if you have community building as one that you need to retain, that is important. The other one is the value creation and the value transfer. And here we see on a slide that we see the evolution of the tourism industry, from the classical hotels to Airbnb, that is Web 1, Web 2.0, Airbnb, and now what will allow, and let's say that the hotels industry has been disrupted by Airbnb, but now Web3 will disrupt Airbnb, because you see Airbnb as a central power that has all runs the community, and Mr. Airbnb is who owns the community. But we will see coming in the next years models where there is not this central power, Airbnb power, and it's the community itself, and that this technology that will enable and will disrupt Airbnb is Web 3.0. That is a web run with blockchain. This possibility of value creation and value transfer in the web, in the internet, is, I think, the question that can change more the tourism. Okay, coming from a central organization like Airbnb to a more decentral model that could be born from the idea of Web 3.0. And to make that a little more to the future, but now in the present, because I think everybody has heard this year about metaverse, I think that the rise of the metaverse should be taken account seriously in the tourism industry, because it enables real nice possibilities in the, let's say, in the experience of tourism and the post experience of tourism. You can use the metaverse to visit beforehand the place that you want to go and plan your journey in an immersive way. And then when you finish your visit, you can have your album of memories inside the metaverse related to the place that you visit. That seems maybe a little science fiction, but it's here. And the backbone of all that is blockchain. The backbone of this metaverse that we are creating, these new worlds that we are creating, the backbone is the blockchain and the tokenization. And I think that the tourism has a lot of, can explore a lot of things here in the metaverse, and can be very important for the future tourism, this technology that is based on blockchain. And that's it. Thank you for your attention. Any question? I don't know if it's now at the end of the presentation or anyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Kirse. That was a really in-depth and interesting presentation on blockchain. And in case anybody has questions, we will leave the questions for the end of the webinar. And I also want to tell you that all our webinars are being recorded, and you will find the recordings in our Tourbit community. So please follow the community and stay updated. They will be published soon. And then you could go back and listen to it again in case you want to get some more and in-depth information. So now it would be nice to listen to some examples how we can use the blockchain technology in tourism. So I will give the floor to Jamil. Jamil, here you go.
Thank you. Thank you, and hello, everybody. I'm very glad to be here today and to say a few words about a real use case using blockchain in the tourism industry. And thanks a lot, Salomon, for this presentation. That was very interesting, and I will try to use some of your elements also in my presentation. So just a few words about the company. H64, it's a company of blockchain development software with a strong focus on tourism. And Salomon was speaking about mass adoption for blockchain. And what we have done is that we have developed a kind of blockchain as a service solution. So like that, we allow SMEs to implement a blockchain layer in a few clicks or on a private blockchain, or on a public blockchain. And like that, our aim is to democratize the use of blockchains by SMEs in different industries, and especially in tourism. So just to give an example about some use case of companies or DMOs, destination management organization that has used a blockchain layer. First of all, I will speak not about one of our clients, but about one of the forerunner, because it was in 2017, and our company is working in blockchain since 2016 now. So quite a few years of blockchain development, but only for tourism. So one of the first company was Singapore Airlines. And what was interesting with the use case of Singapore Airlines is that they don't decide to create a new app with blockchain and to create something new. No, they decided to use their old loyalty programs, their old loyalty systems, and to allow the people that got miles on their old program to transform them in token on a blockchain and to use them to make purchase in all Singapore city. So the use of the blockchain here was very clear. I'm going to transfer my miles to a wallet. In this wallet, it will become some tokens like a crypto, but not a crypto because it's a private currency for the company. We are not going to enter in this kind of details. And after I can go, for example, I'm going to rent a car, and I'm going to pay the fuel of the car with my miles. Or I'm going to go to the ASIC shops and I'm going to pay directly in the shop, and all the transaction will be secure, transparent by the blockchain. So in fact, starting from this example, we have developed a blockchain loyalty platform dedicated for tourism, and it was for the DMO of Aube in France, the Destination Management Organization of Aube. And all the idea was that you have your system, you can create loyalty cards, you can create single-use voucher, you can create gift card, you can create one-off discount, permanent discount, subscription discount, all on the same platform. And then after, people can use it. They can use it through a wallet that is on the phone, and you pay with your QR code, or you can use it even on paper. So you see here, you have the QR code on the map of the destination, and it's a QR code which is a wallet, in fact. And for in every attraction, where will you go, you will use this QR code and this wallet to pay for the attraction or to have a discount, depending on the program. So it was a very simple system to use, and you didn't even need a mobile phone. And in some places in tourism destination, you don't have a good internet connection, or you don't have a good 4G connection. So it's better also if it can work without internet connection, which was the case for our solution. So this is an example of how to use blockchain in tourism in the loyalty fields, because one of the advantage here is that you don't have no more intermediaries, you don't have any tax, other tax to pay, because of course you create your local currency. But more important than that, you have the clearinghouse. Because usually when you have a loyalty program or anything else, at the end you have to see, okay, there were X people who purchased the loyalty card, they have gone in the museum X, so we have to give that money for that museum, that money for that provider. You can have a huge list of providers because it's quite complicated for the DMO to manage all that, or for the company to manage all that. And with blockchain, the clearinghouse is automatic and everything is transparent and is secure. So this is an example of a use case that we created. So here you have all the different elements, but I already mentioned that, and I know that we have a short time to make the presentation. So I will not enter in detail, but you have the automated payment and clearing mechanism. You have a multimedia payment validation system that can be on paper, mobile, NFC card, Bluetooth bracelet. You can put a blockchain wallet whenever you want, and you have transparent and traceable transaction, and you have the same security that a bank as a DMO. And just to make a short link with the metaverse that was mentioned by Salomo, for me the main point to understand is that when you are going to use blockchain for the metaverse, is that you have the same wallet in the virtual world and in the real world. So if you are going to go, for example, to visit, let's say it like that, a destination with some VR headset and all that, and the destination is going to make some gamification, go to visit that and do that there, and then you will have tokens. These tokens, you will be able, the day when you will go really to visit the destination, to use them in a real shop. So in fact, there is no more difference in a way, not difference like emotionally or sensitive way between reality and let's say a virtual world, but you can have the same assets in both worlds and you can use them on both worlds. And I think that is very a little bit the clue to understand about how to use blockchain in different industries and to make the link between real world and the metaverse. So I close this parenthesis. And now another use case that we have made, it was unfortunately during the COVID-19 crisis, and there was a real need of certification for the sanitary measures that were implemented in hotels, restaurants, leisure parks, etc. So we created a tool for where all the certification were registered in the blockchain, and people can come and make reviews and can confirm it, or people people were able to check it, or even to have some rewards if they were confirming or infirming what was happening in the different location. So it was really a transactional platform between tourism service providers, evaluators, tourists, and some data users. And the idea is that it can be used, for example, to make reviews, to make comments, if we are not speaking no more about sanitary measures. And it can be a very fair tool outside of TripAdvisor or other companies to have certified reviews and comments about places. And it's very easy after to create a gamification layer that would be linked with that. So this was Visit for Safe. This was this platform, and it was a white label platform that was also implemented by a DMO. And let's say it was quite positive that after it was no more needed for sanitary measures, and now it will be more used for comments and reviews about tourism service providers in a destination. And finally, a last use case will be about sustainable tourism. It's a use case we are working about right now, because I'm not going to enter now with all the statistics, but it's very clear that in the post-pandemic times, sustainable tourism has become more and more important for travelers when they are choosing a destination. And now we are working for a pilot project with the Nouvelle-Aquitaine tourism destination, DMO in France, to implement a blockchain solution that is linked to sustainable tourism. So I'm not going to enter in details about all these figures, because it's something very clear on the market now. And yes, we have to go on, and we have to go on sustainable tourism, because anyway, it will be mandatory. It's 55% reduction of greenhouse gas emission until 2030 for big tourism providers. And there is a real need from your clientele, which is looking for sustainable tourism products. So the idea here was that, when you are working about reduction of your carbon footprint, this is the most important thing. The most important thing for tourism service providers, for tourists, and for any people involved in the tourism industry, is first of all to reduce its carbon footprint. But you will never be able to reduce it entirely. So at the end, what you have to do is, with the last part of your carbon footprint, is to offset it, to compensate. So that means that you are going to purchase carbon credits from forest, from agriculture projects, from sequestration projects that will allow you to compensate the carbon footprint of your company, your leisure parks, or your visit. And this is the project that has been developed on blockchain. We are taking the carbon credit, we put it on a blockchain layer, We are proposing it on a platform that the name is the Carbon Fund, and companies and individuals can purchase carbon credit there, or their partners and aggregators that are taking care about their sustainable strategy, their ESG, environmental and social goals policy that must be implemented for the company. And of course, as usual, but Salomo explained that, it's transparent, it's tamper-proof, it's secure, and you cannot fraud about it. So we cannot speak here about greenwashing, about the same carbon credits that I used 2 times, about very low price carbon credits, because now you have seen that the Qatar World Cup of football is neutral, carbon neutral, because it's very easy for them to, let's say, to make some fraud about the carbon credits. And here the use of blockchain allow us to fight against this, this thing. And so all the tourism website will be able to propose a carbon offset API. So when a tourist is purchasing a tourism product, a tourism service product, he will be able to compensate the carbon footprint of this product, of this stay, of his travel directly. So I try to not, I don't know if I respect 10 minutes. I don't think so, sorry for that, but I try to be as short as possible.
Yes, thank you, Jamil, very much. Yeah, thank you for these interesting examples. I think it's really good to see as an example how we can use blockchain in tourism. And to summarize it, what blockchain does is you can create platforms with it. And so these platforms can be really convenient for the customer, and it adds a lot of security. So for example, the customer can be sure that the payments are safe. Is this correct, Jamil?
Yes, in fact, we can call it a layer of trust. In the sense that you are going to create an ecosystem, and the technology will bring the trust in the ecosystem. So if you bring the trust through the technology, that means that you have less intermediary fees, you have less implementation fees, and all that. So you create this trust. So this is a little bit, for me, the blockchain is the layer of trust. And automatization linked with that.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always good to have a look at examples from different parts of the world. So now we are looking into an example from Slovenia. So Samu, here you go.
Thank you. You see my slides now?
Yes, we can see it. Okay.
First, I have to present my company. Two words. Slovenian high-tech company, mostly involved in software development, and proud to own the largest private high-performance computing center in this part of Europe. Working in many EU founding projects where clearly technologies of Industry 4.0 are promoted, and some quite cool. Let's say the basic for metaverse, which was mentioned twice before, and many of them are becoming important, if not vital, for the tourism. Between them, absolutely, is blockchain is one of them. Tourism 4.0 is based on some pillars you can see in this slide. I won't enter in every of them, but just few of them connected, let's say, to the blockchain technologies we use. Basically, this indicates that pillars have two main objectives. One is identity management, keeping data private, and control the sharing of this data. And with the collaboration impact token, we will try to manage tourist flow to address over-tourism, because the project started before the pandemic, and now it's returning over-tourism. So it's viable now. Just one slide. We used as similar as said before, private blockchain on because of performance and cost. We cannot use let's say public like blockchain, and so which is based on Ethereum framework and integrated in our collaboration platform, which connects all our pillars and external also external applications, no? And provide identity and what is the basic of blockchain, the immutability of digital object assets, and so then we developed the first let's say user-side application was DOTI, digital online tourist identity, and what we wanted to do with this is to identify to save the identity of tourists, and then he can make more avatars with different data, because when you travel business, you want to share different preferences, and when you go with the family, and then the user controls, the tourist controls the sharing of his data to the service providers, and also store this information about the time limits, which also GDPR addresses, on which the provider can use this data. And also we had the wallet to store crypto token for other uses we see after. Here some, let's say, just we created the user-side application. It was this DOTI, and you can see now how you make the profile, and when you enter the some provider also registered on and know an identity on the blockchain, you can share the requested data or don't, and with also adding the date or the time period you want to share this data. You know that many micro destinations are not visited at the same pace. So what we want is to change the flows from overpopulated destinations to those let's say less populated with the tourists. And using this collaboration impact token, okay, which is crypto voucher, absolutely based on blockchain technology, we can change the value of the in real time. We can change the value of the of this token, which can be used, as Jamil said, for different purposes and buying. And you can imagine that you can decide if you want to have an overnight stay or in a less explored destination, or a beer in overcrowded. So probably someone can make this change. This is important for the different levels, state government, tourist community, and absolutely for tourism provider and local communities. how to manage these values of tokens to change the flow of the tourists. Just we implemented in one our application for one resort here, how you can pay with the token, no, and you absolutely. And sorry, in Slovene, it is changed from your wallet, and you have all the contracts you used for or data transfer or for the payment. Because also certainly when we have a platform with the blockchain services you can use from the applications, we made other, let's say, usages of these services. Now, one is identity verification, absolutely. Verified offer tourist service providers, so we can verify the providers of the tourist services, and the tourist can know and be sure that this, let's say, valid service provider. No, the same is for the reviews, because we know that these reviews are generated, and so we can, with the identity of traveler, we can confirm that this review is coming from the valid source. No, and absolutely ownership of digital assets. No, immutability. So some application. What we also did, when you store some, let's say, digital assets, can be metadata, can be documents, can be images, can be videos, no? And one node of blockchain external from our let's say platform or ecosystem, you can verify if some digital asset is written on the blockchain. So you can confirm that you have that is written on blockchain, so it's immutable. It's true. Let's say we implemented in a different application how you can simply log in with your phone and identity. So and with offer to of the service provider, how to confirm the existence behind or the identity of service provider. And we also have the free stock. Is our, let's say, platform for storing digital assets like pictures and videos. And this is one example of how this is important, no? Because we work with different photographs and who store their pictures and videos on our platform, and we immediately store this information about the digital assets they store on our platform, also on blockchain. No? So with this, we can confirm the exact time and exact ownership of some digital asset, which is, you know how easy it's duplicate the pictures and videos in the internet. So we confirm who made the first, let's say, the first presence in internet, which is very important sometimes with this asset. The Tourism 4.0 is welcoming new members in partnership, and with this I finished my presentation, hopefully in time.
Yes, thank you, Samu, very much. This also was a really interesting example, and I think now that we listened to all these examples, we got some ideas how blockchain is used. So does anybody of the listeners has a question to any of the speakers? So please write your questions into the chat. And in that time, David, did you come up with some thoughts when you listen to these examples?
Yeah, maybe because it comes to if the blockchain specialists what they think of. It's a huge demand on data storage for blockchain, I think. Do you see that as some limitation of the development of blockchain?
So I give this question to Kirsa, Jamil, and Samo. What do you think about that?
Okay. No, go on, Jamil. Go on.
No. I just wanted to point out that in fact we don't store in blockchain. You are not going to store the image or the video in blockchain. You are going to store the hash of the image or the hash of the video. So you are going to store a number, which is a unique number that represents this document. So if there is a change in the picture or in the video, the hash won't be the same. So in fact, it's more a ledger of transactions, of a ledger of proof of proofs, but it's not the storage in itself of the data. Or after you have EFPS, you have other technology, but I don't think maybe it's not the topic today. So this was just the first element. I'll let you, Solomon.
No, very well explained it. Very well explained from you. Nothing to add. But there is a lot of work on the blockchain industry now for the scalability of our technology, and it's very well explained from Jamil that we in the blockchain network initially we don't storage a lot of information. It's very few. It's only the proof and the hash. But it's clear that the scalability is, let's say, a challenge for the industry. And there is a lot of new proposals to reach this scalability.
Okay, thank you very much, Kirsa, and also Jamil. I can see that in the chat there is a question from Stefan, and he says, how can you exchange these tokens into real money? Do you use a broker or does the shops in first examples also receive these tokens as value? So Kirsa, I think the question goes to you.
The tokens, for example, if you use in tourism, as I see here, two examples of vouchers, usually this token is used to exchange for a service. You don't need to exchange that for a real money and go out of the circuit. But if you want to monetize these tokens of this value that you generated inside the network, then you need gateways to be out from the crypto to fiat money. The crypto is the tokens, okay? And the fiat is the usual money. And these gateways usually are exchanges. But that also is a question that we are seeing new ways of monetizing and exchanging this money. And we'll see more easy and more frictionless solutions to make this gateway from this one world to another. Although what we will see also is the dollar digital, the crypto dollar and the crypto euro coming soon from the central banks. And that will be also very easy to exchange from one to another.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, if I may.
Yes, Samo, I have seen you raised your hand. Here you go.
No, about our proposal for collaboration impact token. No, we are talking about closed network. No, where the, let's say, government, because we made also the services mint or generate the tokens and giving them to all the tourists, which then who goes to the service provider and exchanges for the goods, no, and then service provider return back to the main, let's say, to the government this token to have money, no. So this is the exchange. We don't exchange, so to manage the flows of tourists.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope, Stefan, that your question got answered. Marta is asking, how can we make blockchain more understandable and usable for SMEs? So who wants to answer to that question? So Samo, do you have any?
Yeah, I don't want to discourage anybody to saying that it's not easy. And the only solution is learning, and it needs you need to learn. It's a technology that is complex and can be easy for the end user and frictionless, you say, to use the technology more and more. If you compare now to use the blockchain from 10 years ago, it's quite more easier and more frictionless for the end user. But if you want to apply and to use as a company, SME, you need to learn. You need to learn.
Maybe just to add what Jamil showed the case, no? They offer services to those who then, as we do, the service providers who make the other applications for the end user, and end user what doesn't have to know about blockchain, let's say, about the technology, because it's too complex, no? But it's important to trust, to have trust when knowing that really this is immutable, no, and it has timestamp and everything. So to trust those who use this technology, this is, let's say, for me, important. How to, because to promote the technology itself, it's very difficult, very difficult.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, if there are no further questions, we will end here. Thank you everybody for listening. And as David said, we are in the learning module of the Tourbit project, so there will be much information and activities coming, how to implement these technologies into your tourism business. So stay tuned on the Tourbit community. And I wish everybody a nice afternoon. And I will thank also all the speakers for being here and giving this valuable information to us. So thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.